October 26th, Winnipeg heads to the polls to elect its new mayor. 11 candidates will be on the ballot with a vision of how they will lead Winnipeg for next 5 years. 8 candidates have accepted our invitation to convey their plans and promises. My name is Zuher Almusre and this is Civic Platform. 2 years ago, Shaun Loney was volunteering to clean an abandoned homeless camp near his St. Boniface home when he realized a woman had been living in hollow tree. He knew then if he wanted to change things, he had to run for mayor.
My name's Shaun Loney, and I work in the social enterprise sector. It's kind of a very emerging field, nonprofit businesses. And so we're going about problem solving in a very different way. My general approach is that when something's not working, instead of giving up, just stand back and try to figure out some other way of addressing the issue. One of these social enterprises is called Build, B-U-I-L-D, and it does what I believe to be Winnipeg's defining issue, connecting the people who most need the work with the work that most needs to be done. And in particular at Build, we hire people with criminal records to be working in the trades. And we hire them because they have criminal record or no driver's license, no grade 12, no work experience. And we just find with the right approach that people can be really ready for the labor market in a short period of time. And when people get a job, a good job, they can pay their own way, they can support their family, and good things start to happen. So I'm just a huge fan of social enterprises, and I want to see that really baked into the fabric of Winnipeg in so many ways. It's also a good strategy for when newcomers come to Winnipeg. I just got back from Friday prayers at the mosque, and it's both frustrating and exciting at the same time. It's some people that really need work and are looking for work, and so many employers around Winnipeg are desperate for workers, and there's a real disconnect there, and I think we need to get moving on it. So I've also been a senior civil servant working for the government of Manitoba. I was a director of energy policy. And before that, I got my master's degree from the University of Manitoba in economics. And so with the economics education, with the senior government of Manitoba experience in government as a senior civil servant, and then also working in the nonprofit business sector, I think they're all really valuable experiences to bring to government. I also have written a few books I just wanted to talk a bit about. One some of you may have heard of is called An Army of Problem Solvers. It's the title I love. I got from a friend of mine who was working in Iraq, and he told me one time, he says, you know, we could have stopped the American government from invading Iraq. I thought, oh my God, how are you planning on doing that? And he just said, well, we needed an army of we need an army of peacemakers. And I just love that concept so much that this book, which has now sold 10,000 copies, it's called An Army of Problem Solvers. And I'm just think it's a good way of looking at Winnipeg is let's let the problem solvers take care of the problems, because I think you need a problem solver to solve a problem. And then the job of government is to make it easy for problem solvers to thrive and to do well. So that's the approach that I'll take take to governing. Now, I have 5 different key platform planks that I wanted to share with you today. And the first one is around public safety. So back to my experience at Build, just working with people who are in constant contact with police, I found that the truth is people who are committing offenses, they do so over and over and over again, and they'll continue to commit offenses over and over and over again until they get access to the interventions at work. I'm going to tell you a story about a guy named Joey who came to our public safety forum at the Norwood Hotel a few weeks ago. And Joey said, look, I was robbing in this neighborhood. I was even paying people to rob in this neighborhood. And what stopped me was a job. And so I think it's a really key strategy to reduce crime throughout the city. The second part about reducing crime is to ask the police to make a list of the people that they see all the time. And you'll find that, for example, a group of 100 homeless people, they might be in contact with emergency services 2,000 times a year, 2,000. And what they need is supportive housing. And we've come to believe in Winnipeg that supportive housing costs money, but yet when you hear statistics like that, it's like, where does this idea come from? That supportive housing actually saves money. What we need is new tools. And so we asked it's a 3-step process. We asked the police, can you come up with a list of the people you see all the time? Number 2, tell us how much is the value of the staff time that you're using to respond to that particular group of people. And then thirdly, sign an agreement with a nonprofit and pay them for the value of that workload reduction. And the beautiful thing about this approach is a few things, is that number 1, the police see it as a public safety tool. Nobody's asking them to pay for supportive housing. We're saying, well, you can pay for the impact that supportive housing has on your system. So it's a very different new approach, and one that's been endorsed by national nonprofits that are working on homelessness and housing. And when I made the announcement, it was with a guy, Gord Friesen, who was a former executive member of the Winnipeg Police Service. So we're confident that this is something that can really take Winnipeg by storm and make a big difference. Okay, so public safety, that's sort of the first thing. Second thing is green jobs. We import into Winnipeg $2 billion worth of fossil fuels on an annual basis. And there's so many options that are just so much better and cheaper than these old clunky tools we've been using. And so I've got plans, 40,000 heat pumps to be installed in Winnipeg by 2030, not costing money, government money, but rather using innovative financing tools. So your monthly bill might come down by $10, by $100 a month, and you might pay $70 a month in a leasing fee for the equipment to make that happen. We're going to have solar, community solar, and rooftop solar throughout the city. Again, no upfront cost, just creative financing tools. A public EV, electric vehicle charging system, like they have in other Canadian cities such as Montreal, where I've been with my electric Bolt. And of course, a really great retrofitting plan as well, and creating green jobs all the way along. We have young people leaving the city by the thousands on an annual basis, and the green jobs approach is going to be critical. Third thing, metro mobility, a brand new way of looking at transit, Winnipeg Transit, and it's a one-touch on your phone. A van, wheelchair accessible van, is summoned to your house, and you jump on the van. Your neighbors might already be on there. They take you regionally to where you need to go, or out to the rapid transit station with one single amalgamated fare. So intermodal, amalgamated fare. People will wonder, why do I have a car? The service will be that amazing. And we'll also be able to cancel the purchase of most of the 133 diesel buses that Winnipeg Transit currently wants to buy, which to me, I don't understand that because they're in operation for 18 years. Fourthly, we're really wanting to look at infrastructure in a new way, and we call it fix it first. Instead of pouring money into new roads, which one of my competitors has made a commitment to build $1 billion worth of new roads. And that is really irresponsible. So we want to use the money that we have in better ways. And the last thing is a tree trust. The Winnipeg Tree Trust will help protect our tree canopy, and we're going to treat trees as infrastructure. The tree trust is something that's being done in Minneapolis and also in Cleveland. And I'm just super excited to look at trees differently, and also green infrastructure as part of the tree trust to keep raw sewage from being dumped into the rivers. So that's a bit of some highlights about me and our 5 platform planks, and just really grateful to have the opportunity to connect with your listeners today. And you can get more information at shaunforwinnipeg.com. And people who are trying to remember my last name, Loney, only Loney. Thanks.
Head to winnipeg.ca for further details on candidates and voting information. This is Zuher Almusre, and this is Civic Platform. Thank you for watching.